Hold your horses, pun not intended. It looks like the failure of Snow White may have in fact had a knock-on effect with how Disney deals with their live-action remakes. Obviously, they're not going to stop them because Lilo and Stitch is going to be a smash hit, okay? With the CinemaCon presentation, something that we'll touch on later next week, rather. Not this week, obviously. There's just one day left in the week, and this is the last video of the calendar week. Depends on how we work. Anyways, no, we'll talk about that later, but how they've integrated Lilo and Stitch into all of their marketing at CinemaCon, okay, like that movie is going to be huge, okay? It's probably going to make over $1 billion. Hell, I would be surprised if it doesn't. So yeah, they're not going to stop them anytime soon. But this one right here, live action Tangled being stopped in its tracks, okay, reported by Hollywood Reporter. We don't need to go ahead and just, bring up the article or anything like that. Just simply making the observation that, yeah, you have, for all intents and purposes, a Disney princess-centric live action remake getting paused, okay, just completely stopped. It looks like the way that Disney is going to be handling their stuff moving forward could potentially be a little bit more faithful to the source material, perhaps a little bit less politically divisive. Could end up being the case. Or, I don't know, maybe their black Rapunzel dropped out, so now they're looking for an Asian one. Who knows, man? It could all be for naught, because Disney, at the end of the day, may or may not be learning their lesson, okay? Because they've got the mainstream media working overdrive. For as many people that are saying, oh, guys, the mainstream media is really turning on Snow White. Oh, they're really throwing Disney and Rachel Zegler under the bus. I'm still holding true that Rachel Zegler will be in the X-Men. She'll be in the Star Wars project, because she got that Steven Spielberg anointment. His word is gold at Disney, and they are too arrogant to ever fully admit a mistake. IMDb issues a rare warning following wave of controversial Snow White reviews. If they were just simply looking to throw this movie under the bus and just chalk it up as a failure, why would they go to such lengths? Now, the last time we seen something like this was when Captain Marvel caused such a stir that Rotten Tomatoes had to go ahead and readjust the way that they rate their movies. When Amy Schumer's atrocious Leather special came out on Netflix, they got rid of their 5-star rating scale because a self-promoting cum dumpster ended up getting her feelings hurt and continued to get work and continues to get work to this very day. Why would you think Rachel's going anywhere? She's 23 years old. She probably has soft hands and a warm mouth. She will continue to get work in the industry. Why do people think that she's going to be going away? There have been far more toxic actors and actresses. It's just, in the case of Pedro Pascal, who did a very similar thing to Rachel Zegler, he at least has some modicum of talent, is what I've been told, because I've seen, the one performance that people go, oh, he was really great as Oberyn Martell, and I continue to scratch my head. It's like, oh, okay, I think that Game of Thrones Season 4 is wildly overrated. That's definitely when the wheels started to fall off the bus. But Oberyn, outside of playing somebody who's sexually confused, which when you're going to be congratulating an actor on a performance, well done, you normally wouldn't pat them on the back for playing who they are in reality. Outside of that, he had a good monologue in Mockingbird, and I guess he did a really convincing job of getting his head squished, but maybe that's just because I've fantasized about that moment every time I hear that Pedro gets cast in a new project. But he can get away with calling half of the country everything but children of God. But if Rachel does it, well, she gets held to task, right? No, interesting. But IMDb, the world's most popular movie database, has issued a rare warning to those viewing the page for Disney's live-action Snow White. The site has flagged unusual voting activity. Yeah, probably because they're noting that, we have more views than people that have actually bought tickets for it. So I don't know, man, because they have the screenshot, right? Unusual activity. Our rating mechanism has detected unusual voting activity on this title. Yeah, because last time that we looked at it, it was a 1.5. A 1.5. Okay, and I think that video, that's going to be coming out later over the weekend. So yeah, it's actually lower than that, and there's more reviews than that. I didn't see, or maybe I just didn't pay attention to that disclaimer that's there. But they don't do this for other projects that theoretically get review bombed either direction, right? But because nobody's defending this train wreck and how everything's coming in at an appropriate 1 or a 2, I'm just wondering, man, okay, what if a film that comes out that everybody loves, okay, let's just say, Avengers Doomsday comes out and it actually satisfies all of the spurned Marvel fans. Everybody comes in, it makes more $1 billion, and everybody comes in and drops a 10. Okay, it's just a disproportionate number of 10s. You have like 3.8 million reviews on IMDb. Are they going to put the unusual activity rating on that one? Because that's unusual. Okay, we'll just see if this ever gets rolled out again, because Snow White being 1.6 probably fairly accurate. It might end up being on the high end of things, but yeah, even after Snow White hit theaters, more controversies have ensued, especially surrounding Zegler's co-star Gal Gadot. This is such a legacy media fabricated nonsense. Nobody has ever talked about this, right? Several activists opposed the Israeli policies, have called for a boycott of the film targeting Gadot and her past service in the IDF. Yeah, she lived in Israel and they have compulsive military. That would be like calling for a boycott of a South Korean film, because guess what? There's compulsory military training and service in South Korea as well. But that's so stupid, man. You know, I thought we evolved beyond blaming people for where they're at. And yeah, Gal Gadot, very much an activist for her home country. I disagree with her policies and I disagree with her advocacy, but she never does anything in conjunction with the promotion of a film. She doesn't hijack somebody else's momentum in order to make her political statements be at the forefront. Okay, she does it right, man. So to say that she is any part contributing to this, okay, at least of a significant matter, like we know the people that her just simply being a Jew, that would upset them not to buy a ticket. They never show up anyways, because the modern audience, you know, they can't even afford to feed their cats, and they got to just, you know, save money on food wholesale by just buying big bags of dry food, so they can go one for me, one for Fluffy. So no, man, cut that shit. Cut that shit. Just like IMDb, unusual activity. No, usual activity. This film's ass. But apparently, okay, Sean Lennon, John and Yoko's kid, becomes the latest man to hit out as Snow White star Rachel Zegler, which honestly, not even that bad. But yeah, as The Independent points out, the 23-year-old Disney star is at the center of an online smear campaign. Yeah, using her own words and her own clips against her. Yeah, that's a big old smear campaign, right? Sean Ono Lennon, the son of Yoko and Beatles musician John Lennon. Yeah, I would say the third most talented Beatle. Anyways, Zegler, who made her screen debut in Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, one of her many bombs on her resume, oh right, it's only bombs, has been highlighted as one of the few positives of the critically mauled Disney live-action remake. No, she can sing. That's not giving her praise. That's just simply stating a fact. Her performance is atrocious. Like, she does the typical theater kid, like, oh my god, the camera's on me. The camera's been on the whole time, huh? Anyways, but no, she's acting for the theoretical audience that is in row Z. But if you want to go on any of the pictures, or hell, even just checking out your local cinema, there's nobody in row Z through A, so don't worry about it. It's been claimed that comments made by Zegler caused consternation among the film's producers in the run-up to release. Really? Well, yeah, because we ended up getting confirmation of that, yeah, days after the son of Snow White producer Mark Platt launched a tirade against the actor. Well, yeah, after he was accosted by all of those very compassionate Rachel Zegler fans. He's like, all right, you want to do this, man? All right, then. But then he got Sean Ono Lennon. I don't know why, but okay. The post follows an earlier one in which Lennon called Zegler and her co-star Gal Gadot exceptionally beautiful women. Well, yeah, his father's a legendary simp, so why wouldn't I think that this poisoned apple wouldn't fall too far from the tree? In response to sexist posts critiquing their appearance. Well, Rachel is not hot, okay? Like, if you think that's a bad bitch, you just actually have to go outside and touch grass. Like, I say she's mid, and that's probably disparaging to mids out there. She's an in-shape 4. Like, you look at that face, man. It's, like, that's not a flattering or a high-definition screen grab, and outside of a decent pair of tits, like, she's got really nothing going for her, man. But Gal Gadot, on the other hand, I mean, she's a beauty queen. Like, there's no other way about it, man. So yeah, you're half right, but I don't know, man. Simping and saying they're exceptionally beautiful, I would expect nothing less from Lennon. But yes, this post here, okay, I agree, the vilification went too far. Why? But she also acts like a spoiled, ungrateful, and disconnected brat, so it's no surprise. So yeah, once again, you know, sitting on the fence. But yeah, Zegler first sparked controversy among conservatives and right-wing critics in 2023 when she attacked the Disney classic. You know, it's just right after Birth of a Nation, you know, the 1930 1937 Snow White is always what gets played at the Ku Klux Klan rallies, right? So I'm told. So yeah, it's only right-wing bigots and conservative grifters who cared about what Zegler had to say about it. Okay, that's it. It's no longer 1937, and very evidently so she's not going to be saved by the prince. Why would you go ahead and put Gal Gadot's quote in there? She's not going to be dreaming about true love. That's very interesting, but why would I expect honest journalism from the Independent? Okay, because, well, they want to go ahead and point out the men attacking Rachel Zegler. Go ahead and take a look at some potential shade that was thrown her way by a former co-star who would end up backtracking a little bit when realized, oh shit, I ended up flowing a little bit too close to the sun, mostly because there's still an extensive PR wing behind Rachel Zegler. Bro, she's not going anywhere. She's not fucking leaving. She's not leaving. Okay, Ariana DeBose, I think that's the way you say DeBose, whatever, deletes a post quoting criticism of West Side Story co-star Rachel Zegler. I didn't do any research. And to be completely honest, man, like, I have no idea who Ariana DeBose is, okay? She would have been a better looking Snow White if we're going to keep it a buck, because, yeah, that right there, that's a fair side-by-side comparison, okay? And DeBose, shitty haircut notwithstanding, is objectively more attractive than that wide-eyed bridge troll. Let's keep it a buck. Like, if Amazon is looking for more disposable elves for Rings of Power Season 3, like, you know, hey, call up Rachel Zegler, because there's nobody else that I'd like to see thrown from the ramparts quite like her. Ariana DeBose issued a clarification shortly after sharing a post to her Instagram that directly quoted recent criticism of her West Side Story co-star Rachel Zegler. I post quotes all the time, and I thought this one was meaningful. I fully copped to the fact that I didn't do any research or on where this quote came from, nor did I know of the connection until it was pointed out to me. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Which quote are you talking about here, sweetie? Okay. Earlier this afternoon, this couple of days ago, obviously, DeBose shared a post, which she then reposted to her story that read, "Narcissism is not something to be coddled or encouraged." The post directly quoted the now deleted comment by Jonah Platt, the son of Zegler's Snow White producers. Yes, Mark Platt. Yeah, that same one who viciously attacked Rachel by flying across the country and saying, you know, knock those toxic social media posts off, you fucking dork. Platt claimed that Zegler hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires at the risk of her colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers who depended on the movie to be successful. And here's the very salient quote that apparently resonated with Ariana DeBose at the time, but not after she got the full context of working with this narcissist hand in hand. Narcissism is not something to be coddled or encouraged. And she's like, that's a good message, because I've worked with narcissists before, and this one's actually directly referencing her. Okay, so I still agree with the post, and I'll just take it down because, I guess it doesn't really look all that good right now. But there's the original post. I hate Instagram fucking reels because they always just look so trash. It's just low effort memes. But they work together on West Side Story or something like that? All right, cool, man. To be completely honest, she probably got more traction from that Instagram reel than she did being in that movie that absolutely and totally bombed. But Rachel, yeah, okay, we want to talk about other men attacking her. You know, Joe Rogan reveals a real reason why Snow White flopped at the box office, as he calls for a Doge investigation. All right, man. Daily Mail doing Daily Mail tings. Joe Rogan suggested Doge should investigate to make sure the box office flopped Snow White for managing to blow $250 million. Oh, no, Joe. It's so much higher than that. On a movie that looked terrible, instead of blaming star Rachel Zegler. 23-year-old has taken the brunt of the blame for the film underperforming its massive budget. Yeah, I can't wait to see how little this pulls in its third weekend. It's going to be hilarious and becoming one of the least liked films of all time on film review sites. She also is dinged for political opinions. Rogan discussed the movie in his hit podcast on Wednesday with comedian Kurt Metzger. Metzger pointed out that while he's sure she sucks, Zegler is likely being made to take the fall. Oh my god, normie takes abundant, even from somebody who's reasonably funny like Kurt, but yet fall for the movie that had to go through a lot of people to get made. Yeah, probably because they thought it was good and because of the otherwise a very high quality, that sarcasm doesn't necessarily translate, but yeah, the rest of those live action Disney remakes fucking blow. Okay, they're probably not a hell of a lot worse than Snow White, but yeah, if it wasn't for the controversy around Zegler, yeah, this film would have done fine. It probably wouldn't have done any better than The Little Mermaid. Okay, it probably would have made $400, $500, $600 million. And even if it had a Latina Snow White, it would have done fine. But it had Rachel Zegler as Snow White. So yeah, that's what happened. If you notice the spin on it, they're putting it all on her. I mean, I'm sure she sucks, but she's 23. She's a fucking adult, dude. She didn't write the script though, right? Yeah, she had to perform it though. And here's the thing, okay, as I've been watching the Hobbit movies recently, and there's a lot of cringe shit that's in there, okay? Like Richard Armitage, Martin Freeman, and especially Ian McKellen. What they do to Gandalf is a crime against humanity. They do some good stuff with some really bad dialogue and some really bad scripts. Rachel, though, you could have done something with it, but you didn't. You have a lot of high profile, okay, big budget experience, but you don't do anything with it. But yeah, you want to go ahead and have the normie take that, oh yeah, she's still young, they put a lot on her, she didn't write the script, and oh yeah, there was no dwarves. Are you just going to go ahead and say those set leak photos about how the bandits were there, and then, you know, they just, Disney just spurged out and added the dwarves last second? Do we want to have every other basic bitch take that's out there? You're supposed to be a comedian, you're supposed to be somebody who's, you know, got a very sharp and snappy mind, and this is the best that you guys can do. Come on, man. And I don't think she made the no dwarves decision. That was Sir Peter Dinklage, even though there is a fucking dwarves in the company of bandits. But whatever. The pair put the scenes involving the dwarves on Joe Rogan's big screen to watch how poor it was. Okay, let's get Joe's take, and then we'll just get the hell out of there, or get the hell out of here, because ugh. Oh, wow, that does look bad. It doesn't look real at all. Wait, how much did this cost? They should get Doge to look at this movie. They spent $250 million making this movie. Nope, they probably made closer to $350 million to make this, and then another $100 million to market it, only for this film to probably not crack $200 million. It is absolutely hilarious and a very justifiable bomb, a very justifiable disaster. And for as much shit as Rachel is getting right now, she's going to come out the other side as arrogant as ever, because I'm still waiting for that nuclear meltdown. We'll just have to see how poor the box office is come Tuesday. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Cotswell. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.